Hey everyone. Okay, first of all, I'm going to apologize for the lamp that's just over here that's creating the bad lighting. But I tried it without the lamp and you couldn't see my face. So now you get to see my face, but it's just awash in this very yellowy light. But I'm filming on my old camera, on my old phone, which is not as good of a lighting situation as my new one. But anyway, this is partially a little bit of a change-up video and partially a haul. So the change-up is kind of twofold. First off, I know I made a classics video set that I posted, and that still applies. I definitely still want to read all of those this year. But I also filmed a few other genre videos, fantasy and I think historical fiction and maybe some general fiction / teen stuff. And I have deleted those and decided not to post them, because I've been thinking about it and I really do want to be able to pick up whatever I feel like this year, within like my own shelves. Like I'm not going to go out and buy like 50 books and read all those or anything like that, but I really do want to be able to kind of just pick up things on a whim rather than planning out my months. So yeah, so I'm not going to post any more of the genre videos. Apologies for that if you were enjoying those, but I'm still going to keep you guys updated, hopefully on a weekly basis, as to what I'm reading. I haven't been keeping you updated recently just because I haven't really read anything since I finished Tentative Wildfell Hall, which I think I mentioned in my top favorites of 2015 video. But anyway, that brings me to my other point. I have already added to the classics pile of one that I want to read, and that is Daniel Deronda by George Eliot, which is what I'm starting either tonight or tomorrow. So this is my little current reads part of this video. I'm going to start this, and that brings me to my other change. I know that Eliot was in my chronological reading author video, or like authors I want to read in chronological order video. That's the way to say it. But then I realized that she has written so little, like she's only written 7 books, and a few of those I probably won't even be able to get my hands on. Like she wrote this one that I've never seen in print, and it could be in print, but I have never seen it in a bookstore, and I've checked my library, and they don't have it. And I'm forgetting the title right now, so that's why I'm not saying it. But anyway, because of that, I kind of realized that I just want to read her books in whatever order I feel like, rather than reading them in chronological order. Because especially when someone hasn't written as much stuff, as many novels, I feel like it's not as important to me to see the progression of their writing, because an author like Dickens, when he wrote like 14 and a half, or technically 15, even though Mystery of Edwin Drood was unfinished, novels in his life, and people say that as you read him, you really do see the progression of his writing between his earlier stuff and his later stuff. I feel like then it is important to start his books at the beginning, not because they have anything to do with each other, but because they do show the progression of his writing style and his thoughts on certain subjects that he wrote on and things like that. So for Eliot, I'm just going to start wherever the heck I feel like, and that is Daniel Deronda, and it's actually, the reason I picked this up is actually because of Victoria over at A Hermit's Progress. I mean, I have wanted to read it for a while, and it's been on my shelf for a while, but she had this in her top favorites of 2015 video, and the way that she described it just made me want to pick it up immediately. So yes, this is on the agenda for the weekend. And I also got the Juliet Stevenson narrated audiobook from Audible, because my library didn't have it. But yeah, that'll be fun. And then now on to the actual haul. The first one I got is Dombey and Son by Charles Dickens. This is one of his later ones, so I won't be getting to it for a while, but it is in the gorgeous Penguin English Library edition. And the reason why I got these, here, I'll just show you, it's so pretty. I got maybe 10 of these from Book Depository, and that's because recently I've seen that more and more of the Penguin English Library editions are going out of print, or you can only find them used. So I decided that I really wanted to order the ones that I want to read now while they're still available new. So I did get like 10 of them, and I have maybe 7 more on my list that I'll get maybe hopefully later this year, so I don't have to wait too long. But the last time I got a Book Depository order was like 2 years ago, so I figured that this was okay, especially because a Book Depository gift card was on my Christmas list, but then my mom told me that she did some research and they actually don't have gift cards, which was kind of weird, but then she just gave me money instead and I just used that. So yeah, I'm generally on a book buying ban for the year, except for a few of them, but this I felt was an exception because I'm trying to get these before they go out of print. But anyway, this is actually also the only matted one in the pile. The other 3 are in a more papery kind of material. So yeah, anyway, I will read you guys the back. It says, a devastating depiction of a man imprisoned by his own pride, Dombey and Son tells the story of a dysfunctional family. At its head is Paul Dombey, who runs his family life as he runs his firm, coldly, calculatingly, and commercially. The only person he cares for is his little son, while his motherless daughter Florence craves affection from her unloving father, and his defiant second wife Edith rebels against him. Dickens's great vision of London in the grip of avarice, this is also one of his most heartfelt works, showing how love can survive in the harshest world. That just sounds amazing. And I actually got this on the recommendation of Katie from Books and Things, because she has read all of Dickens, and Victorian Lit is her jam, basically. So, I asked her advice when I decided I wanted to do this, because I said, okay, there are so many of his that I own, and I want to read those in chronological order, but I'm also debating whether or not to just read all of his work in chronological order. So, what do you know about, and then I streamed off, like, 7 different titles, or rattled off, like, 7 different titles of Dickens's work, and I'm just like, okay, what do you think of all of these? And she said that she thought it was definitely worth it to read all of them, I think. Even Oliver Twist, which she says is her least favorite. And I think for me, Great Expectations is going to be my least favorite, because I have hated every adaptation of that I have ever seen, pretty much ever. So we'll see how I like the book. But anyway, and this cover is now in my top 3 favorite Penguin English Library covers, along with Tenant of Wildfell Hall and North and South. It's really gorgeous. Okay, now on to the others. This is Wives and Daughters by Elizabeth Gaskell. I have seen this miniseries and I adore it. I'm a little skeptical about this because she was writing this when she died, and it is unfinished. And I read the last sentence of the book, and it doesn't give anything away, but it's a very abrupt halt. So hopefully I will love the rest of the book so much the abrupt halt won't really matter, especially because the miniseries actually took, like, they basically knew where she was going with the ending. They knew what was supposed to happen. So, or at least they think they did. So they kind of did 2 final scenes as like a way to wrap up the movie, because they didn't want to just abruptly end it. So hopefully there's enough indication in the book that I will firmly believe that that was the way it was supposed to end. But yeah, I'm very excited about this, and this will actually be a while down the road because it's her last book obviously, if she was writing it when she died, and I am reading Gaskell in order because she has written a lot, and I want to read most of it, and anything that I don't have in physical copy, I actually have her completed works on Kindle. So, yeah, very excited about this, and I will read you guys the back of this. It says, with its lively depiction of a close-knit, gossiping community and its richly drawn female characters, Elizabeth Gaskell's last and finest novel is a warm, funny portrayal of human relationships. When 17-year-old Molly Gibson's widowed father remarries, her life is thrown off course by her vain, manipulative stepmother and enlivened by glamorous new stepsister, Cynthia. Molly soon finds herself a go-between in Cynthia's romantic affairs, but in doing so risks losing her reputation and the man she secretly loves. And I love the miniseries, so I'm just so excited about this book. That'll be so much fun. Okay, next up we have The Mayor of Casterbridge by Thomas Hardy. Oh, and all of these are in these, like, newer, papery kind of materials, like, you know, a regular book, rather than, like, kind of matted. And this one's floppy because it's short, so I love it. But anyway, Mayor of Casterbridge. This is one that I originally was not going to read by Hardy, but then I read some kind of description of the synopsis of this book online somewhere, or, I don't know, something, where it was in some kind of cartoon, or it was modernized in some way, but the way that it was described was so funny to me that I was like, oh my gosh, I need to read this book. So I'll read you guys the back. This says, the moving, humane tragedy of a deeply flawed and self-destructive man, the Mayor of Casterbridge, is the story of Michael Henchard, who sells his wife and baby daughter at a country fair in a fit of drunken anger. Over the following years, he establishes himself as a respected pillar of the community of Casterbridge, but cannot escape his shameful past or himself. Subtitled The Life and Death of a Man of Character, Hardy's intense drama, tragically played out against the rituals of a close-knit Wessex town, is one of his greatest works. I'm so excited. And I also really like this cover. It's got, like a circus tent and then a caravan. So that's pretty cool. Last but not least is another one that I'm super excited about, and a very pretty cover, but I don't know, it's not exactly my favorite shade of pink, but it's still really cool. This is Evelina by Frances Burney, and I feel like this has been around BookTube recently with, like, people who, with the booktubers who read classics. I feel like a lot of people have read this recently. But anyway, it just sounds so great. It says, in this comic and sharply incisive satire of excess and affectation, beautiful young Evelina falls victim to the rakish advances of Sir Clement Willoughby on her entrance to the world of fashionable London. Colliding with the manners and customs of a society she doesn't understand, she finds herself without hope that she should ever deserve the attention of the man she loves. Frances Burney's first novel brilliantly sends up 18th century society, sends up, but I feel like it should say set up, 18th century society and its opinions of women, while enticingly depicting its delights. Yeah, so this sounds great, and just really cool, and I don't know, it'll be kind of a random one-off for me, because usually with Victorian authors I read multiple books by them, but like with this and Lady Audley's Secret by Mary Elizabeth Braddon, those will be the only ones that I'll read by these authors. But anyway, those are the four that I got, plus talking about Daniel Deronda, just as a change-up for what I've been reading recently. And I will do another haul when I get more of these in the mail. They're coming about like 2 per day, so I might just wait for the other 6 and do one, or I might do 2 more. I don't know, we'll see. But thank you guys so much for watching.